Hey folks, I'll check in right quick. It's Friday morning, the 14th of December. Had a really good show last night. Haven't really slept well, so I'm probably going to do this and take it easy today. No new records. As I said, I don't have a budget to buy records, so the new stuff that I receive is what people send to me. So what have I been focused on this week? My show, watching the continuing mounting madness with the political situation worldwide, and beyond that, counting my blessings and just feeling thankful about a lot of things, even though there's all kinds of madness going on around me, including in my personal life. My friend Hugo, who runs the gallery, got busted. He had a little thing going on the side there, and he got popped. So just mentioning that because we're going to be doing trying to do raise some funds for him for his bond or whatever. Selling stuff out of his collection starting tonight at the gallery. But I want to say thank you for the feedback. Thank you for listening. And if you have not listened to what I've been posting lately, please go and listen. I would like to let people know that this is not something brand new. Some of these tracks got started years ago. So I've been making good music for a long time. I think it's just time for it to come into focus. I'll tell you about other people's music, but mine is on the same level. The show last night where I performed both of the things I made videos for recently, I performed them live, and the one where AZ, where it's the kind of a slightly Prince beat, I got the crowd jumping. There's some pictures on Facebook. It's at a cool kind of used to be a hippie type of lounge, and so there's drums and stuff sitting around. So one guy just picked up a djembe and started jamming along. It was a wonderful vibration. My daughter came. She's not my blood, but she's my daughter, Sarah. If you watch this, Sarah. So much fun last night. So, please listen to my music. Check it out. And I'll answer. Someone asked me, am I over here playing a big bank of keyboards and stuff when I make this sound? No, I'm using Reason 5 MIDI software, that keyboard I've shown you, and it's my ears. I always tinker with the presets, and of course, you use outboard effects to a certain degree to achieve the sound, but I get that big sound because I'm listening. I'm not thinking about the sound, I'm listening to it. I think that's the secret. There's probably many secrets to making great music, but I think one of that I've heard countless geniuses say, if you listen, then the music comes to you. That's the secret. You can make great music with anything. I got up my old Casio tone. I've still got a Casio tone. It's in the other room, but I took that and played that as a live keyboard on some things last night, and it really worked. So thank you, folks, for being with me. What's sitting down here? I was recently updating my discography. I'm going to upload a video soon where I got a free video software editing thing. See, I'm slow. It takes me forever to realize, oh, geez, I could probably get some software online to do video editing. And sure enough, Shotcut. So that's how I made those recent videos. I'm going to be experimenting with it and teaching myself how to edit and find some more stock footage as well as taking my own. But while doing that, I was playing this from my discography. This is a Scream Zine is one of those things where a promotion company or whatever you have at an ad agency will put out collections, compilations of artists or things that they're involved with that they're trying to push. Well, this is one that came out that Digital Sex got a track on when we were about to blow up, but I'm looking for the date of this. This is obviously about 84, 85, but Digital Sex track, Whisper Words on here. There's the picture of us. I was in my old house in my basement. I was just playing this and actually listening to it, comparing it to the other tracks on here. And loving how ours is definitely one of the better tracks on here. You can find this on Discogs, Scream Zine. Which one? They just look for Scream Zine. They put out a few, but you'll find it. Peter Gordon, the New York musician who I have albums from, was the executive producer of that. One of my all-time favorites, Faust So Far. This is my copy that was given to me by my high school friends who turned me on to this band when they moved out of Omaha. After graduating from high school, they gave me a bunch of albums, and this was one. I originally had the artwork in it, but I was a kid at the time, thought that the artwork was annoying, so I separated it from the album and eventually lost it. I do have a reissue of this on Recommended Records with the artwork, but this to me is again another album that taught me a lot about being open-minded about music. Felt like dipping into some old rock, so I played Milestones by SRC. And this album starts off good, and there's for a lot of people, they do In the Hall of the Mountain King and Bolero on here. I don't like it, but a lot of people think it's cool. The best thing to me is the first track on here, and then they're young, and you can hear that. You know, some of the songs are embarrassingly naive, but the record label, and that's the right way to show the cover, they had the correct ingredients. One of the things that, if you haven't figured it out yet, is you must look good to get a record deal. They need to be able to sell your butt. You know, sad, but it's just the way life is. Diff Jazz, a primarily instrumental band, atmospheric. Back in the 80s, this is on 4AD Extractions. There's one vocal on here. Liz Fraser of Cocteau Twins made a guest on here. I think the first track with the saxophone goes on too long, and that's the only weak point. Otherwise, this is an incredibly unique sounding band and beautiful, melodically beautiful. Here's another one. Say, I like beauty. More interested in beauty than rockin' hard, although I love to rock hard, or the funk. Some people, collecting wise, those are kind of their ground zero. It's got to be funky. Well, it's got to rock or stoner, you know. Mine is beauty. Actually, that's the most important thing to me, is beauty and the way it feels. Here's an album that the members of Vandergraaf Generator made while they were in Italy without Peter Hamill, The Long Hello. And this, in particularly the opening track, is an ideal. Wish I could play it for you. It's so beautiful. It looks like this. It's like they're sitting out in the country on an absolutely ideal summer day. That's what the music sounds like. Fantastic. Had this out because we were talking about it. Selling England by the Pound, played it all the way through. Doesn't make me cry now, but interesting what time does. Now that it's been so long, I can actually hear on the cinema show where Tony Banks was struggling to play his ideas. There's a couple places where it's like, man, he just made it. You know what I mean? They probably couldn't have done any more takes. He probably couldn't have made that run. This is an incredible piece of music. To me, this is one of the greatest pieces of music made in modern times for me. I like saying this because the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, which is in the news now, which, you know, I think is, you know, it's a joke compared to what it really could represent. They're not even cognizant, you know, This is greater than so much of what they think is great. And the fact that Def Leppard got in and MC5 is still not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, Todd Rundgren is still not, and Def Leppard is. You know, I don't like to argue, but man, I'd go to town with some people arguing that bullshit. That ain't no way that's right. To my mind, a proper historian would get that shit right. That ain't right. French band, Shylock, Ile de Fièvre, highly influenced by Old King Crimson. This is I think a late 70s album, 77. They have a few albums and actually reformed and are still going. This is great, a great album. Their first album is one that I'd like to find. I've got it on CD, Geelorgs. I'd like to have that on vinyl. I pulled this, but I actually haven't played it yet. Porcupine Trees, Moonloop, in Transmission 4. It's a collector's item. This is on white vinyl. I just, again, big fan. I never got to this because I got busy listening to Faust, and I sampled some of it to make a piece that I'm listening to here at home. I do that, you know. So, and then the other one I'll have to show is this, again, is from this goes back to high school. The kids from Europe that turned me on to the bulk of cosmic music and prog that I know about. They turned me on to Kraftwerk and Genesis and Ashra Temple, and this was their copy. They had both Kraftwerk 1 and 2 and gave them both to me. Someone stole number 1 from me. I didn't get rid of it. One day I just couldn't find it anymore. I did actually have an old friend, I guess he's still a friend, admit to me years later that he had stolen some records from me, and I got one of them back, a Throbbing Gristle white vinyl single. Sold it since, but that's probably happened to some of you, hasn't it? That where people have stolen shit from you, your actual friends. This is my original Kraftwerk Ralph and Florian. But it's beat because I bought it when it came out. I played this to death. It's so good. Yes, and when I showed the Bo Hansen the other day, I have Watership Down. I've got 2 versions of it. A lot of times when I show you records, I'm not showing you everything I have. It's Christmas time. Please go to my Bandcamp site, go to my blog site, buy some stuff. I looked at Patreon. I am now seriously considering getting onto Patreon. The one thing I'll tell you guys is that if I get on Patreon, I'm not going to censor myself. If I feel like saying something politically, whatever I feel like saying is what I'm going to say. And I care that you care, but I'm going to say what's on my mind. I need to. Okay? And that's the only thing that concerns me. I'm not going to, you know, if I have to censor myself to be on Patreon, I'm not doing that. And if I don't, then I'm thinking I may go for the Patreon thing to keep going, you know, because like everybody else, money is the issue. I want to just drink coffee and make music and have friends and enjoy the sunshine, but no, the wheels of commerce must turn.